Board. Hello, good evening, everybody. I know we're a bit thin on the ground tonight, but I'm trusting a few others will join, and I know a lot will be watching us on recording later as well. So I've started this training on the 45-second presentation, and our business is a simple business. And I know I'm always guilty of complicating things. And we need to not complicate things. We need to keep it very simple. And one of the things that you'll find people complain about, that the reason why they don't do the business is because they don't have the time. And the business is actually designed for people who are busy, which is possibly why I get to do it and enjoy it as well, because I'm always busy, I'm always running around. And I don't have time to go knock on doors and make phone calls and presentations for 5 hours at a time. And a lot of other people don't have that time either. So we've been blessed to have a whole lot of tools that we are able to use. Back in the early days, those tools consisted of having in-person meetings. I think Charlie used to talk for something like 3 hours with two intervals in between the early presentations. And those days, we don't have time for that anymore. I think the current attention span is something like 10 seconds, never mind 3 hours. So we need to use the tools. And even though the book that we're basing this training on was written many years ago, and it was one of the early tools, the fundamentals haven't changed. So the system is still the same. And non-fail has got a very good way of doing the system. And it used to mean buying books, printing books. I actually think I still got a couple of copies of the printout version of this particular training. But now it's all here for us. It's online. We simply copy, paste, send, and let your prospect use their time to look at it. They can read the book, which shouldn't take more than about, I guess, 45 minutes to an hour to read through, or they can sit and listen to the recording, which also takes about half an hour to listen to. And you can do that while driving, you can do that while ironing, you can do that while lying in the bath if you feel so inclined. But use the tools. Let me share my screen over here and carry on with this. Okay. So we are talking about the 45-second presentation that will change your life. As I said, a lot of people complain that they don't have the time. Ask them if they've got 45 seconds. I'm pretty sure most people have got that. So we started last week with some of the foundations, and I'm going to continue again this week. And this is where we start to build the organization. Since you are buying your products wholesale, you can sell those products at retail and make a profit. Now, remember, we do not have to go out and sell. In order to make money, we've got to sell something, whether it's selling yourself to your boss, whether it's selling a product, whether it's selling a service. You are going to sell something to somebody if they're going to give you money. In fact, even that isn't a variation from that, because these guys that stand on the side of the road with their hands open are essentially selling themselves for 2 rand or 5 rand or whatever handout that they can expect to give. The amount that they're selling themselves for is very, very low. If you can compare to high-grade attorney who's probably going to charge you about 5,000 Rand an hour to listen to your story, as opposed to the guy standing on the side of the road with his hands open. Either one is selling their time, their service, and in our particular case, we are selling products. Never mind just our services. However, a common misunderstanding about network marketing is the notion that your success hinges on your ability to make retail sales. And this is something that I got confused about in the early days as well, because I don't have time to go and sell things. Well, you don't have to sell things. It literally takes 5 minutes. Somebody says, "Oh, I've got aching joints." And you go, "Well, I found a product that worked really, really well for me. And when I share it with people, my company pays me for it." And leave it at that. Or you might even want to rephrase it and say, "I found something that worked really well for my aching joints, and I've had no more pain since I started using it," and then change the subject. Because 99% of the time, they're going to say, "Oh, what is it that you use?" Because I've been doing exactly that just recently, and I've picked up a couple of almost instant sales where I talk about my story. And this is where your story comes in. My aching wrist, my aching thumb. I don't have it anymore. "Oh, what did you use?" "Well, I use a glucosamine product." "Oh, can we get it at discount?" "No, you can't. You can only get it through a distributor." And then you change the subject, because invariably they're going to come around and they're going to ask you, and you say, "Yes, I actually am a distributor. If you're interested, we can talk." I try not to do that too much with my patients, but it does happen. And if they broach the subject, I'm going to answer them. Sales are the ultimate purpose, but sales within the network marketing model should not be confused with traditional retail sales. And traditional retail sales are you go into a supermarket and you walk around with your shopping basket and you take a bottle of milk, and you pick up a slab of cheese, and you pick up some broccoli and some cooking oil or whatever else it is that you're needing, and you go and you buy it. And you produce your card or some cash, and the shop gives you the products, and you've given them your money, and everybody's happy. That is traditional retail sales. And we don't work like that. In network marketing, sales success is a result of building a good organization and informally sharing products with family members and friends. Because after all, if you see somebody, make a friend, and you get to know them and they share with you a pain point, and you know that you've got something that you've used that has helped your pain, are we being selfish if we don't stand up and say, "I understand, I hear you talking about your pain point. I've had a similar issue and I found something that worked really well. Would you like to know what I used?" There's only going to be two answers, yes and no. And this is why we devote so much time to teaching you how to build an organization. Because remember, you need to be your own best customer. You don't need 1,000 customers out there. And that's why we say you are not in business by yourself, because you are not alone. Far from it. The whole point is to build a growing team. The important idea is to let your sales come as the natural result of building the organization, not forcing products onto people who are not interested and don't need them. More people fail than succeed by trying to do it the other way around. They try to build the organization by emphasizing sales. And 96% of people are not interested in selling anything. They do look for a solution to their problem, and they are looking to buy something. They don't want to sell things, because most people don't understand what the word sell means. So as we go through the napkin presentations that follow, you will see this concept unfold before you, just like a napkin. The word selling triggers negative thoughts in the minds of about 95% of people. In network marketing, you don't need to sell the products in the traditional sense of the word. We define selling as calling on strangers, trying to sell them something they may neither need nor want. And I think it's Louis Smith says he gives away more products than he sells. And he gives away more products and value than he could ever afford to purchase back in the early days. And I think Charlie does that to a certain extent too. However, products or services do have to move, or nobody gets paid. Nearlife doesn't get paid. We don't get paid if we don't share the products that have been developed and we share them with somebody who's going to pay for the results of that development. Again, product or services have to move or nobody gets paid. Even in your job, if you don't pitch for your job, you don't get paid at the end of the month. It's as simple as that. But what are you selling there? You are selling yourself. You are selling your time to your boss, and he's paying you for your services. When you build an organization, you are actually building a network through which to channel the company's services or products. Retailing is the foundation of network marketing. Sales in network marketing come from distributors sharing with their friends, neighbors, and relatives, not strangers, people that you know. And a stranger is simply a friend you haven't been introduced to yet. You never have to talk to strangers unless you're wanting to make a friend with them. To build a large, successful business, you need a balance. You need to sponsor and teach network marketing. And in the process of doing this, you can build a customer base by retailing to your friends, neighbors, and relatives. Note again, not to strangers, not cold calling. Don't try to sell the world on your program yourself. Jerry Brasfield talks about building the business one relationship at a time. Remember that network marketing is building an organization in which a lot of distributors all retail a little bit. You don't have a flood from a single raindrop. You don't have a flood from 10 raindrops. You do have a flood from 10 billion raindrops. Remember the snow the other day? One single snowflake meant nothing. But a whole lot of snowflakes all working together at the same time brought a whole lot of people to a grinding halt. This is far better than a few trying to do it all. So imagine 10 snowflakes trying to stop all that traffic. Wouldn't work. 10 raindrops trying to drown us out. It's not going to work. But if they all work together, you'll be amazed what happens. So small budgets lead to superior products. With virtually all the network marketing companies, the need to spend large sums of money on advertising is non-existent. Your best advertising is word of mouth. Advertising is done almost exclusively by word of mouth. Because when last did you sit and watch a whole lot of commercials between a TV program? Or, okay, I don't know anybody going to the movies anymore, but normally they've got a whole lot of commercials at the beginning. How many of those things do you remember? And how many times do you run out and go, oh, I need to go and buy XYZ because I saw it advertised on TV? But if a friend tells you, you know, I had this problem and I found this product, it was quite a unique product and it worked so well. They go, oh, what is that? Tell me more about it because I've got a similar problem to you. And then they probably are going to go and buy it because you've said that you've used it and it worked for you. So your friend who knows you and trusts you is going to go and try that product because it's probably going to work for them too. But to see an advert that somebody spent millions of rands paying for, where back in the old days of watching TV, I would go off and go to the bathroom or take a walk around the area. I would not watch any of the commercials that were played during a TV show because I just wasn't interested. And so for this reason, these companies have more money to put into product or service development than advertising. As a result, they usually have a higher quality product or service than their counterparts found in retail stores. Imagine if TNN was amongst the other 500 products sitting on the shelf at the local health store or pharmacy. Would you go and buy that bottle? Especially if it was slightly more expensive than all the other things. Our vitamin C, for instance, would you go and take our vitamin C off the shelf at a health shop when we know that the price is, it's the price of vitamin C? It's about 400 odd rand. When right next to it, there's a bottle for 20 rand. Are you going to take the 400 rand bottle or the 20 rand bottle? Naturally, you're going to take the cheaper one. But not knowing that the 400 rand one has got 4,000 times the value than the 20 rand one. That's just how it works. So you can share with a friend a high quality product or service of a type that they are already using. So you can tell them, listen, that bottle of 20 rand vitamin C isn't as effective as this 400 rand bottle. And this is why this bottle works better. I have used it and I have found XYZ. In that case, you're simply replacing their old brand with something that you have discovered through your own experience to be better. Or you may introduce them to something that is completely new to them. Maybe they've never heard of glucosamine. Maybe they've never heard of salmon oil. But we can introduce them to it and tell them why it's special, what's different about it, how does it work. I know most people that I talk to with regards to arthritis, and I say, I use a glucosamine, and they go, what? What's that? They've never heard of it. And then I can educate them as to what does glucosamine do and how does it work. And I have found that it worked for me. So you see, it's not going door to door every day calling on strangers. Because I think if I had to walk just up my street over here and knocked on doors, well, first of all, it would be really difficult to get to the front door because most places have got these big 10-foot high walls and security gates and everything else. So to be able to walk up to the door and knock, it's very, very difficult. But if I had to yell over the fence and say, listen, I've got something that could help you. Would you be interested? And they go, man, who are you? I don't know you. I'm not interested. Take a hike. But if it's a friend, they're going to listen to you. All network programs that I know of teach that if you simply share the quality of their products or services with friends, that is all the selling that is involved. Somebody tells you they've got a problem, you tell them you've got a solution. There's only going to be two answers. If you ask them, would you like to know more? They're either going to say, no, thank you, I like my pain, or yes, please, what is it that you are using? That's it. Simple as that. And we prefer to call it sharing because that's exactly what it is. Now, the next thing is the importance of sponsorship. Another thing that differentiates network marketing from direct sales is the sponsoring of other distributors, sometimes called independent business owners or IBOs. In direct sales, and even in some network marketing companies, it's called recruiting. However, sponsoring and recruiting are definitely not the same thing. You sponsor someone, then teach them how to do what you are doing so that they are able to develop a business of their own, not on their own. Recruiting, on the other hand, is merely the process of adding people to the organization. And this is where you have this sad likening to a pyramid scheme, because the pyramid scheme will recruit a whole lot of people, but the last guy recruited is the loser. He's the weakest link in the chain. Whereas if you sponsor, you building that chain, not making it weaker. There is no commitment to their success if you recruit somebody. Anyone who recruits without providing the necessary training and support will ultimately fail. The attrition rate of unsupported recruits is very high. When you sponsor people, you're making a commitment to them. You are working for them, not the other way around. If you are not willing to make that commitment, then you are doing them a disservice by signing them up. So if you are planning on sponsoring somebody, make a commitment. And I'll go as far as to say it's almost as important as an engagement to marriage. It's a lifetime commitment, not just oh yeah, let's see how long this lasts. It's not like you meet a new girlfriend and a week later you find we don't really gel together, so off you go, and she goes her way, you go your way, and life carries on until the next person that you meet. In this business, it is a commitment of life. At this point, all you need to be is willing to help them to build a business of their own. This training will be an invaluable tool in showing you what and how to do just that. It is a responsibility of a sponsor to teach the people they bring into a business all they know about that business. And this is where training comes in. Things such as ordering products, keeping records, how to get started, how to build and train their organization, etc. Because remember, we are introducing people to a business. And most people, like myself, are more used to a job, what they call linear income. You go to work in the morning, you come home in the afternoon, you do that 5 days a week or 6 days a week or 7 days a week. And at the end of the month, your bank account goes ding and there's money put into that account. Whereas with a business, you can get paid every single day, not just once a month. And this training will go a long way towards making you able to meet that responsibility, because we are teachers teaching others how to be an entrepreneur and a business owner of their own. I know in my case, it was and still is a very foreign concept about business as opposed to a job. It is poles apart. Sponsoring is what makes a network marketing business grow. As your organization grows, you are building towards becoming an independent, successful business person. You are your own boss, which is a good thing and a bad thing. With direct selling companies, you work for the company. So think of a plastic company that you are holding a party and you are selling a jar or jug or whatever to somebody else. There's not too much building a team. And as we've just seen what happened to them, they've imploded after many, many years. If you decide to quit that company and move to another area, you end up having to start all over again. Is that fun? Imagine if I have to now, or you guys up in Durban decide, okay, you've had enough of Durban, you're going to relocate down here to Shelley Beach, but you can't take your team with you. So you've been living up in Durban for 20 years and you've built a nice business over there. Now you move to Shelley Beach, but you haven't been able to take anybody with you. And now you start again. 20 years worth of work gone, starting all over. Whereas if you're sponsoring, you can take people with you wherever you go. Oops, I'm going to go over here. Let's just watch my time now. In almost all of the network marketing programs that I'm aware of, you can move to another region or another continent and sponsor people without losing the volume generated by the group you left behind. With our company, they're in over 50 countries around the world. So you can move to Australia, you can move to Germany, you can move to the States or England and still build your business. Now, the next thing is, and I'm just going to go through this briefly, or see how far we get because I've got a few minutes left, making a living versus making a fortune. In network marketing programs, you can make a lot of money. It takes a little longer with some companies than it does with others, but making a lot of money comes from building an organization, not by just retailing the product. Because if you're just retailing the product, and today you're having an off day, you're feeling sick, or something happened and you couldn't go to work, you don't make any money. But if you've got an organization, you can go to the beach, you can go on holiday, and you're still making money. To be sure, you can make a good living in some programs by just sharing the product, but you can make a fortune by building an organization as your primary function. People will get started in a network marketing business with the idea of making $50, $100, or even $200 per month, and suddenly they will realize that if they want to get serious about the business, they could be making $1,000 or $2,000 per month or more, much more. And you can make dollars, rands, pounds, krona, whatever currency you like. Again, remember that a person doesn't make that kind of money by just selling the products. They make that kind of money by building an organization. If you just sold the products, you could make $50 or $100 or $200 or rand if you want to put it to that. But why do you want to settle for 200 rand if you can have 200,000 rand? And that is the purpose of this training. It will teach you the things you need to know to be able to build an organization and to build it fast, to develop certain and proper attitudes about network marketing. Because network marketing is still one of the most misunderstood business concepts in the world today. But fortunately, that seems to be changing. Move me out of the way over here. If a person thinks network marketing is illegal or has a connotation of it being like a pyramid selling organization, and they do make that connotation, you're going to have a lot of trouble sponsoring them. You must teach them the facts to eliminate them mistaking a true network marketing organization for a pyramid selling organization. And just like any investment, just like any business, you need to do your homework. If you don't do your homework, you are going to lose. And if you lose, then don't blame the system, blame yourself. If you've done the research and done your homework, you know you can't fail. One example you could show them is shown here on the left side, which is over here, and I'll get me out of the way again. There's a pyramid versus a multi-level marketing or network marketing. Pyramid, there's success at the top and a broad base, and everybody loses at the bottom. Whereas with network marketing, there's a lot of room at the top, and everybody wins. The pyramid selling organization is built from the top down, and only those close to the top can ever benefit financially. In network marketing triangle, everybody starts at the bottom and has the opportunity to build a large organization. You can build an organization many times larger than your sponsor's organization if you want. Okay, and I think I'm going to stop it there because we still have about 5 minutes. And if anybody has any comments or questions that they want to ask now, before I stop recording, or I will stop recording and then open mic.